up, world? We back. It's your boy Chuck Wick Ills, aka Charles Brown. How you doing? Good? Good. Alright, so this time I want to talk about your boy Nipsey Hussle. Got a new album called Victory Lap. So you feel that? You feel that? You feel that, son? It feels right. It feels right. It feel like the West Coast, and I know I'm going to make somebody mad right now, but it feel like the West Coast is back. I'm going to say that. So this is how I feel about Nipsey Hussle, the West Coast, Snoop Dogg, Game, Dr. Dre, all that. The West Coast, at one point, so when I was coming up, the West Coast, at first, I'm going to show you how long I've been in this hip-hop business. At first, West Coast rap was Ice-T, Arabian Prince, World Class Wrecking Crew, Donald D. It was evolving. It was a hodgepodge of different sounds, live instrumentation, very eclectic, different. LA is a different, California is a different animal than New York. When New York brought out breakdancing and scratching and DJing, rapping, graffiti, all that, it was done in a very New York way. New York is cold, so they had on bomber jackets with raccoon hats and furry shit on their head, things of that nature. When it transitioned over to the West Coast, it became a different animal with longer hair, different things like that. Like, as far as, I don't say they started this stuff with the crazy outfits, but they damn sure perfected it. And they damn sure put a lot of effort into it. East Coast hip hop was that, but West Coast went another level with it. And not only did they go another level with it, visually they expanded it sonically. We had much more quality of instrumentation when it went over to the West. Let's just say, for instance, when the East Coast hip hop songs first came out, they were disco orientated. Let's be clear. A lot of that stuff was disco orientated, party orientated, things of that nature. When it went over to the West Coast, in my opinion, it became even more rock orientated. It became more the audience broadened because you have such an eclectic scene over there. So you had to have a much broader sound over there. So therefore, if you're a traditional hip hop head from the East Coast, it's gonna feel weird. It's gonna feel different. It's gonna feel like I can't relate. I don't know what this is all about. When we were young, we didn't know. It was hard to relate to West Coast stuff. Just long story short, it was hard to relate to West Coast stuff. We didn't know what a gang, like, far as even before the gangster stuff came in, when they were just rapping about whatever they was rapping about, it was like almost trying to be New York, but not quite, because it's hard to rap about New York stuff when you living in 80-degree weather all year. You know what I'm saying? Not all year, but you know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's different. It's a different animal. So we wasn't really connecting like we needed to be. You know what I'm saying? The gangbanging stuff is different than New York hustle stuff or East Coast hustle. Is different. I said it to say this. When actually Ice-T, and when Ice-T first started, he wasn't the Ice-T that became the Ice-T from New Jack Hustling and all that. That was a decidedly New York turn that he took on it. When he first dropped, it was a different Ice-T. You understand? And that was the hardest shit. 6 a.m., 6 in the morning. Hip-hop was more open to a lot of stuff back then, but it was still different. You had to curb your way of thinking to get with it. And I bought that stuff. I bought Ice-T. I bought Sir Mix-a-Lot. I bought Donald D and all that stuff out of the West. but it still didn't have that feeling of, you knew it was West Coast. You knew it was West Coast. After you got past the World Class Wrecking Crews and all that, and it got more into King T and all that other stuff, you knew it was hard, but it still felt like there was a step behind what the East Coast was doing and what Philly was doing, and stuff like that. In steps, I'm skipping a lot of years right now, but Dr. Dre, NWA, all of that, niggas with attitude, all that whole movement, Ruthless Records, Eazy-E, changed the West Coast forever. Once that changed the West Coast forever, that whole vibe that you were getting, it used to feel like a surfer beach musclehead that was all of a sudden trying to rap. It's like you took Jean-Claude Van Damme and now he's rapping. That's what it felt like West Coast rap was. After they started to make their own music, their own sound, because they were the first ones really cursing on record. They weren't the first, because I'll give that to Schoolie D, but they were the first ones to do that shit with no fucking qualms about it. Hard as fuck. We don't give a fuck. You gonna take this shit or leave it. This gang shit. Gang, gang. So they was the first to do that. I'll give you that. Schoolie D was the first motherfucker to do anything hard like that, with all the, whatever. But once it got beyond Schoolie D, nobody else was doing it until you went to the West Coast. Here comes Ruthless Records, bitch this, bitch that, nigga this, nigga that. But the time and effort that Dre took that shit, he realized, the New York beats is what it is. I need to take that and merge it with this Cali funk, this Parliament, this Funkadelic, this George Clinton, all that Space Ghost shit, all that shit. No one on the East was really fucking with it like that. You had EPMD fucking with it a little bit, but no one was doing it the way Dre started doing it. He was taking that funk shit that motherfuckers grew up on and making that into viable rap. He wasn't just looping it. He was doing some other shit with it. Some shit that motherfuckers wasn't even thinking about doing with these drum machines and these patterns. So Dre took that sound, made it the West Coast sound. Once Dre perfected that sound with these hard ass beats, they were emulating a New York beat pattern and rhyme cadences. Go back and listen to the first NWA. You hear when Ren and Dre are spitting, they bouncing verses off each other when they're jumping in and out. That's a New York cadence. That's a New York flow. They're trying to be New York MCs. They're trying to get taken as seriously as MCs. Dre and Ren fucking it up, all that shit. That's New York shit. You had to be taken serious as an MC, you had to have that New York shit. But he found out that he could take them New York beats, put the funk shit off from the West Coast on there, and it's a whole different sound. Once Dre did that shit, that's gangster rap. That's gangster rap. And when I say it feel like it's coming back, for a minute, gangster rap ruled all rap. Before Atlanta, before down south, because it wasn't no down south. The only thing down south was Scarface and 2 Live Crew. You might hit me with 8 Ball and MJG. You might hit me with UGK. And that's about it. You're not going to, it's not a long lineage. Early 80s, late 80s of Southern hip hop. You got a handful of names. West Coast, when they had that shit, they had that shit. They had it in a chokehold. This is before the Chronic even dropped. Before the Chronic. When Dre dropped all the NWA shit, he followed up Eazy-E with MCs Ren and Dre and DOC and what's my boy Dub C and them. All that shit. Dre was dropping everything. At one point, Ruthless was dropping everything. Then you had a lot of imitators trying to imitate Ruthless. So then you had an influx of bullshit. I mean, it's not all bullshit. You had an influx of not copycat, but they reality rap. You know what I'm saying? CMW, MC8, all that shit from that era. A lot of Compton stuff came out. Too Short, a lot of that. And Too Short was before NW. It was like around that time. All that shit was starting to... Too Short kept doing his thing. Too Short, probably one of the biggest artists on the West Coast. At one point, if you was watching Rap City, BET, and this was where East Coast, and a lot of people don't want to address it, they want to say the East Coast, West Coast shit was the media. No, motherfucker, I was there. The media ain't do nothing but report the shit that niggas was getting mad about. It was that East Coast niggas wasn't getting that shine no more. That's what the fuck happened. If you was watching Rap City and it showed 10 videos, 9 of them shits might have been West Coast shit. Believe me. Believe me. Maybe not. Maybe 7. But if you feel like you are the home of rap and they only showing 3 New York or East Coast total, and the rest of them is all this shit that you consider whack, because to be clear, a lot of East Coast niggas wasn't fucking with West Coast shit. Be honest with you. So it was a lot of East Coast dudes feeling like, yo, they showing this bullshit, this gangster shit. If you go back in time, it's a lot of little slick shit that East Coast dudes said. KRS said, he tried to muffle it in his voice. He's like, Compton, you think you dope? Little shit. It was a lot of little East Coast digs at Compton and gangster rap in general. Because they was running this shit. They was holding down rap fucking in a chokehold. All that little shit, Coolio and all that little shit was running. They had rap in a chokehold. Even MC Hammer had rap in a chokehold. East Coast didn't like that shit. And you couldn't fuck with them. Couldn't do nothing about it. Boss and all this little, every kind of style was coming out. High road, everything. So it was like they had it in a chokehold. If it wasn't one thing, it was another. It's a real dope scene. But the gangster shit overshadowed everything. The gangster shit had shit in a chokehold. So what we had to do, we try to balance that shit by making big hits. Go back and listen to Biggie. Biggie had an interview where he said his whole purpose was to try to beat Snoop and Dre when they made that album. Go back, go cut this off, go look at it. He's told you. He was the only one that was going to try to take back the mantle of New York. Why do you think they love this nigga so much? Because he mastered the formula. That's why Tupac say, you bit my style. Biggie set out on a mission to openly combat the chokehold that the West Coast had on rap. He had to make an album that could compete with the shit that they was doing because you couldn't fuck with him. And when he did it with Ready to Die, it was a fucking surprise. It was a literal surprise because New York couldn't fuck with these guys. Couldn't do nothing with them. So, you taking all this pushback, for lack of a better word, from the East Coast, the whole thing becomes a real deal. Big East Coast versus West Coast beef. 2 dudes end up dead in the street. All kind of beef. The Outlaws and this guy and that guy. Everybody's Tretch and this guy and that. Everybody's mad at everybody. It ain't safe to go over there. It ain't safe to come over here. Boom. These guys dead in the street. We learn from it. But what happened with, in the midst of all that beefing, Death Row falls apart. The West Coast falls apart. Once you mimic something too much, it becomes old. And in the middle of all that, guess who's sneaking up? Just doing shit on some holding hands and kumbaya shit is the South. They're like, fuck that. We gonna work. We gonna eat. We gonna eat. We're not gonna sit here and bicker and be cripping and blood. We're not doing all that. These dudes came in, kicked the fucking door open, 100 deep. You started making records before you looked up. The whole fucking radio, everything was South shit. Legit. Outkast, TLC, all that shit. Before you looked up, they had bum rush and it was over. Wasn't nobody from the West or the East winning. Now you got to imitate these motherfuckers. So when I say it's starting to feel right, yes, somebody's going out there and be like, the nigga the West never fell off. No, they never fell off. No, they never fell off. But they don't got no chokehold by no stretch of the imagination, as similar to what it was. As similar as what it was for a while. For, I want to say, 10 years. You could dispute it. The West was only making music for the West. No one was checking for that shit. Yes, you're going to have fans and blah, blah. I am a promoter. It's hard as shit to book a West Coast act over here. Facts. Yes, they come. They do come. They have to be really, really dope. They have to have a really good marketing, promotion. Everything has to click. And it's not a lot of running back and forth. It's they come once, they hit a run, boom, and they go back. It's a very few that can, you know, like Snoop. Snoop he can tour all year and blah, blah. Just like Mobb Deep can tour all year. They can go over, come back, da, da. But it ain't a lot of running over here, doing a lot, because it's just not that feasible. The West Coast, E40, Dub C, all these guys, Corrupt, all these guys, this is a different arena. At one point, a death row artist was money. I'm sure even RBX was out here getting money. But as the South took over, they changed the landscape, they changed the sound, they changed even the way you dance, even the way you party. West Coast boogieing, they don't do that. Right now, they party different. Everything is different. So, when I say it feels right, yes, West Coast artists were eating. East Coast artists were eating. If you look long enough, you could say Troy Ave was eating. You know what I'm saying? You're going to say Joey Badass is eating. Joey Badass is an anomaly. But you're going to name some people. Yes, you're going to say, oh, E40 still eating. You're going to name people. But a chokehold, you're going to name 5 guys from the West. YG, people like the Kendrick. And then, but that's recent. I'm talking about over the years, the chokehold has slipped. It ain't nobody's fault. It's just that the South is too strong. Just like New York. They say, oh, New York, whatever. They said about New York the same shit for Cali. It's the same shit. So it's like, all right, what are we going to do about it? What these cats had to do, was actually figure out, don't do what New York is doing. Meaning, don't try to emulate this Southern shit. That's where New York went wrong. Trying to emulate, well, I mean, you could say they went wrong. I could say they went wrong all I want. But Fat Joe, French Montana, they still eating. You know what I'm saying? So I can say whatever I want to say. But I guess dudes had house notes and car notes, and they needed to eat. So, but I'm going to say them anyway. New York went wrong by emulating and trying to become Southern rappers. When I go through New York now, I can't tell where the fuck I'm at. When I used to go through New York in the 90s, shut the fuck up, turn the radio on. This shit gonna be crazy. And the entire ride was nuts. I could switch stations and the shit always something dope. Banging, like, oh my God. Like, New York in the 90s, you knew you was in fucking New York. They were still scratching on shit, still bringing it back 100 times, dropping bombs. They do that shit now, but it sounds trash. But it was New York. Exclusive shit. Shit that the nigga just made it down the street and brought it to the station. You didn't hear it before. That was New York. Now it's 80% of the shit is national shit being played. Not fucking 90. 90% is shit you already heard. 90% when you're going through New York, you can't tell what city you in. Because it sounds like you could be in Baton Rouge right now. Shit sound like you in fucking down south somewhere. That's the problem. That's what happened to New York. They lost their identity. The West is coming back because they have consciously decided we're going to be the fucking West no matter what. Bottom fucking line. We West Coast. Our shit is hard. Even when it wasn't cool to be hard. A fucking couple years ago, I want to say 3-4 years ago, hard shit wasn't cool. No. Even right now to a degree. Hard shit is starting to come back. Hard shit wasn't cool. You look like a dickhead up there rapping all hard. I do shows. When a nigga get up there, when he rapping all hard and he got all his black on and shit, they looking like, let me go get a drink. What the fuck is wrong with this guy? They waiting for the turn-up kids with the skinny jeans and shit. They waiting on that shit so they can jump up and down and get lit. Hard rap was out. Hard rap was out. But you see a resurgence because the West Coast said, fuck that, we're not changing. What it had for the shit is everybody want to be gangbangers now. Like, that shit is a fashion statement now. To have a flag and bang it. It's like you can't even be an artist no more. Name me one popping artist that ain't a gangbang or claim a gang right now. That shit like a fucking iPhone. It's just like having the newest iPhone. Oh, I'm in a gang. Like, it's like cool. Like, I got a tat. I got fucking dreads and I have no shirt on and I'm in the gang. It's like, that's the fucking thing. So what happens is we have an insurgence of niggas that's really in a gang. Like Nipsey Hussle. Like, it's not no fake shit. It's not no questionable. It's real shit. So in a roundabout way, the nonsense of fake shit led to real niggas resurging. Process that. Process that shit. It's a nigga online right now. I don't know his name right now. I'm going to research it. This nigga's the funniest nigga I've ever seen in my fucking life. Real gangbanger. And somebody gave this nigga a fucking phone, and this nigga is fucking hysterical. Like, he comments on every fucking thing. This guy, I follow this nigga because he makes me laugh. I wish I knew this nigga in the hood. But this is the funny shit. This is acceptable now. A gangbanger with a smartphone just talking shit. I don't know where this nigga's from. I don't know what he does for a living. I don't know anything about this guy, but I can feel that this nigga's a gangbanger for real. And that shit is entertaining. Believe it or not, right now, we are in a resurgence of just pure shit. Pure West Coast life. That's cool right now. Let's just say that. It's cool to be a real G. Now, when I say West Coast was out and Biggie made this music to combat the chokehold of West Coast, and he was successful. That don't mean he brought the whole East back, but he was successful. Anyone that's going to be honest with you will tell you when that West Coast dip came and the South was running shit, after Biggie and Tupac and all that, the South was running shit. Anyone being honest with you, the second resurgence of the West started with The Game. Point blank. Yeah, everybody was still doing it. No, the music never stopped. But on a national level, on a worldwide level, The Game, Dr. Dre signed The Game. 50 Cent helped put that music together, and The Game reclaimed the West Coast. That began the second resurgence of the West. You got to give Game his credit. This guy put that whole West Coast on his back. Lyrically, sonically, with the actual songs, and he just didn't give a fuck. I remember when Game and 50 started beefing. When they started that beef, it was like you expected Game to quietly just take the L. Because that's 50 didn't lose back then. 50 didn't lose to anyone for any reason. This motherfucker, if he got on your ass, you just back down. Let it go. Move on. Not only did this motherfucker not back down, this motherfucker actually went to war with this nigga. It's like, who is this motherfucker think he could go to war with 50? Like, not only did he go to war with this nigga, some people would say he won the fucking war. I'll leave that to you. You decide. You tell me. Some people would say Game won that war with 50. Maybe it did. But I tell you what, he earned his fucking stripes. Just like Snoop. When Snoop went back at Suge, Snoop earned his fucking stripes. I really thought when Suge started throwing his weight around, talking shit about Snoop, I thought Snoop was going to be the bigger man, ignore it, and just work. Snoop was like, fuck Suge, and that's what changed everything. And Game did the same shit with 50. Game was the second resurgence of the West. And that wave, one man can't hold the wave alone. You know what I'm saying? But he did a damn good job. He did a damn good job holding this shit down. And I like all Game albums. I know motherfuckers, you know, Game be doing some crazy shit. But when that motherfucker know how to make a hard ass album. And when hard wasn't cool, Game was still hard. And even Game, he will make, you know, he gotta make these songs here and there that's gonna get played. You can't be all day. If you're gonna be an artist, you can't be all day and all night knocking niggas out, shooting niggas in the face. Your songs gotta appeal to some ladies at some point in your life. When I was younger, I want a whole album. 15 songs, 20 songs, just all hard, like when I was younger. It's not like that. Life is not like that. Nobody's hard all day, all night. Nobody's tough. Nobody's thugging 24 hours a day. No one. So, Game knows how to play this game, and he understands it. Now, I'm going to go back to what I said in the beginning. The West Coast is back. Even Game couldn't hold this shit alone. And we've had a lot of releases with the advent of streaming and iTunes and all this other stuff. But the West Coast they've produced their stars, but even the stars that they've produced have seemed to assimilate into culture, rap culture, and not be overly West Coast. But we've been seeing in the last 5 years with like YG and a couple people like that, a couple producers. Is Mustard from over there? I think he is. I don't know for sure. But a couple producers have been doing that thing. Chris Brown is posted up over there. He's not from there, but he's putting a lot of light on it. Ray J's over there. And there's quite a few people that have kept the West name in the conversation. So Nipsey, I've been hearing of Nipsey for years. So let me talk about Nipsey. So to me, Nipsey is a big part of that West resurgence. As Game was doing his thing to keep the West relevant, I've been hearing of Nipsey for at least 8 years. He's been grinding. He's been just, for lack of a better word, thugging his way through this industry, making a name for himself, showing people that he got what it takes to be what it's going to be. And it has not been a moment where I didn't think he was going to be a big name in this game. I always felt like I was watching a dude become great. That's what I want to say about Nipsey. I've been watching the dude become great. I've always compared him, and this is easy. This is easy. I've always compared him to a young Snoop. I get it. That's cliche, but you got to understand that young Snoop was fucking vicious. A young Snoop was hungry as fuck. A young Snoop didn't give a fuck. A young Snoop was none but rapping. Rap, like just animal raps. When we first saw Snoop, we was like, what the fuck? This is an animal. Mad, like, just like, you could tell he wasn't seasoned, but he was raw. You know what I'm saying? That's what this dude is. That's what Nipsey Hussle is. And I even had a couple occasions where I was offered to bring him here, to book him I just wasn't sure that it would work. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's tough. I've done a couple West Coast acts, and it's not easy to be a promoter and do acts from a different region. It's not easy. It's a big risk. But Nipsey has made it. When you see a dude make it, you know that he made it. It's like when Kendrick made it. When he came here, he sold out. The show sold out so fast, they gave him another show the same night. So they had to do 2 shows the same night. That's how fast the dude sold out the huge venue here. So you know they made it. Nipsey, I think he's made it. I think he's where he can sell out and he can do the numbers he needs to do wherever he needs to go. That's when you become a national brand. I think, and to elaborate on my point, when I say the West is back, it feels like this music, this era, this time. First of all, with the invent of the streaming, you can put out anything. And if you want West Coast shit, you can just get West Coast shit all day, all night. You can go on your Tidal, your iTunes, and get West Coast. TDE, Aftermath, Dre still got his industry, and this Nipsey Hussle, YG, all that. I think this guy name is Neef and Pharaoh and all this nonsense and Mozzie. It's a lot of stuff. It's a lot of stuff that you're gonna have to start dealing with. You're gonna have to start contending with. See, me, I never explained how deep my West Coast affair is with the West Coast music. I love West Coast rap. I love West Coast hip hop. I can play some Daz Effects, go right into some fucking Eazy-E. It don't make no difference to me. It's all the same to me. If it's good, it's good. It goes from one extreme to the other. I like it, all of it if it's good. Some of the shit is trash. But when it's good gangster shit, when it's real, I don't give a fuck what you rapping about. When it's real and you took your time with it and it sounds quality, I fuck with it. This Nipsey victory lap is amazing, bro. And what I'm gonna say is, it's not trying to be anything. I don't think this guy could have made something fake if he wanted to. This shit is like, this is all I am. This is what I am as a person, as a human being. All I know is this life. All I know is this train of thought. When we was like MCs and stuck in our ways, we didn't want you rapping about, we thought any nigga rapping about anything other than rapping. If you was rapping about gangbanging or eating pussy or whatever, you was whack. But that's not life. Everybody's not just an MC getting on mics just dissing other MCs and all we talking about is you're whack, I'm dope. That's not life. Some niggas are caught up in a struggle. No one asks to be a gangbanger. No one asks to be in the hood. No one asks to be in the ghetto. No one asks to be in a destitute situation. But that's where you drop that. And it's all about how you handle it. You gonna be a sucker, you gonna stay in the house, or you gonna go outside. You know what I'm saying? If you're going outside, you have to deal with some shit. And it's all about how you deal with it. So this is a guy who deals with it head on, and he's gonna tell you about that in his music. I really respect what this man. You can just feel a dude's respect. You can just feel a dude's respect. I got a lot of respect for this man because it comes from inside. You can tell that this is a man of integrity. Now I don't like the little thing him and academics right now. I don't really like that. That don't sound right. But other than that, this guy has shown me nothing but some stand-up man shit. And we're going to get into this album of what I feel about Nipsey Hussle's victory lap. All right, so like I said, the West Coast is back. These beats are, I want to say 70-80% of this is West Coast bang music. This is West Coast, and it's in style again. This hard shit is in style. It's not just banging for no reason. It's banging because that's what we do. It's when I say that, I mean this is our life, not like some fake, we just think it's cool. This is our life. Victory lap. Now you're gonna have to go get the production of who did what, blah blah. All I know is Nipsey's rapping, he's singing on here, and he brought a lot of features in here that accentuate this album. I can't think of one feature, well maybe one. I don't think Puff Daddy was necessary at all on this song that he's on. Puff Daddy, it sounded like he was in the vicinity. And this nigga was like, let me get on anything, something. I'll just, please. Other than that, Puff Daddy has no business on this album. He doesn't kill it. He does not destroy it, but he got no business. This song did not need him. The song was probably already made. They probably going to send this shit off to be mastered and shit, and he just wanted to get on it. But it's whatever. So we're going to go into the review. I think I said everything I wanted to say about Nipsey and Snoop and the West Coast. You know, it is what it is. You agree or you don't, put in the comments. Victory Lap. So we're going to start with the first song. Victory Lap, featuring Stacey Barth. It's a very smooth, mellow, it's like a Dre meets organized noise. Now, I don't know if Dre has anything to do with this album. I would not be surprised if he does. I would not be surprised if he does. But this is a banging ass album overall. This first song sets the mood of this album. When you hear the first song, sometimes it tells you what everything is going to sound like. And I think this is the situation here. I think this first song basically tells you you're getting a West Coast, mellow, hard, dark album. And that's exactly what we got. The first song set us on a nice journey. And I think Nipsey, for the most part, he stays in his lane. All his stuff gonna be very steeped in realism, steeped in, because you can hear a fake gangster. Like, you can hear that shit sounds fake. It sounds over exaggerated. It sounds, it's not full of details. It's full of cliche. That's not what you're getting here. You're getting a guy just picking his own brain and putting it into rap form. And that's why this dude is dope. And another thing that I just learned, which is stunning, this is this dude's first album. Process that. If I'm wrong, somebody could tell me I'm wrong. But as far as I know, this is his first and only album. This dude has like 4 other mixtapes, but the album, this is his album. And this is all you got when it comes to which is amazing. But this tells you the game we're in. You could live and eat and breathe just off mixtapes now, which I thought shit was a joke. When I heard that, dudes is only dropping mixtape like a couple years, about 5-6 years ago. It became all you needed was a mixtape. You're on a fucking tour somewhere. Back in the day, a mixtape was your throwaway shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, a mixtape was the shit that couldn't get cleared on the album. So you put out as a mixtape. Now, a mixtape is a viable release. Next song. Rap Niggas. It's a trap beat. It's very current. It has that it's like a trap beat with that West Coast synthesizer, that underlying G-Funk. Again, right back to Dre. But he's keeping it current because it's a trap beat. So you're making a trap beat and, you're making it feel like you're over in the bay somewhere. I like it. This is a good start to this album. I don't feel like there is a lot to skip, if anything, on here. You may like some stuff better than others, but this is one of them albums I'm going to put on and let it flow. Some albums like that I hate because I don't have favorites. It's just, I just got to start it from one and then just go. But then I don't know where to start sometimes because I can't just keep starting from one and just letting it flow. You don't have time for that. But everything sounds so dope, you don't want to pick one or the other because it all flows together. Next song. Last Time I Checked, featuring YG. Sounds very Bay Area. Got a little Too Short, a little E40. YG went hard. It sounds like the talk of right now of a rapper is like very anti-label, and that's what it sounds like. These two dudes are talking about. He's talking about gang shit too, but right now the movement is indie. The movement is anti-label. The movement is to be self-sufficient, to own your masters, and a lot of rich talk, which is quality. Next song, Young Nigga, featuring Puff Daddy. Very new millennium R&B. This is that new Bobby V. This is what now it's cool to rap to the R&B beats. The beats that used to be for sex, now they can rap over them. And that's cool. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Just Dr. Dre and them did it. Go back and listen. They took slow ass beats and talked over them, rapped over them, made skits over them. They used this. They learned this. So this is dope. Again, the Puff Daddy collab, for lack of a better fucking word. How are you collabing when you're just saying what the nigga just said under the shit? That's right. Yeah, nigga. Fuck these niggas. Like, it's like, what the fuck? You a hype man that's not hype. All right, man. Next song. Dedication featuring Kendrick. This is that West Coast bounce. And he says he's the Tupac of my generation. Which, at this point, you can't get mad at a dude for saying that. Because you know why? There would never be another Tupac. There would be Tupacs for new people. New kids. They're going to have somebody that they look up to as a Pac. So, you know what? I'm not mad at the 15 different guys running around saying they new Pac, Tupac. Do what you want to do. You may be Tupac to Lil Ray or whoever. So, I'm not mad at a dude saying he the new Tupac. Do what you got to do. Because to some people, he is. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. Kendrick is very just visual. He's always visual. He's letting you know that these are his experiences. And I'm starting to think that Good Kid, Mad City, Kendrick, had a lot of fucking gangster shit going on. You know what I'm saying? Like, for every fucking nerdy thing he went through, it sounded like he was in the middle of a little bit of gangster shit, getting jumped in and all kind of little shit. So these are the things we learn, and when we hear these verses that he puts out there, it'll be one thing this way, one thing the other way. And I'm starting to feel like Kendrick may be a little more affiliated than we like to think. All right, next song, Blue Laces 2. Nice, it's a soul sample. This reminds me of some CMW, some Compton Most Wanted, some MC8. Come on this side, get them fucking like some MC8, some fucking Gia. You know what I'm saying? This feels like some gangster shit. Retrospective. I like what he's talking about. I like what Nipsey's talking about. He says now I don't know if they killed Dr. Sebi, but you know what I'm saying, I like that line. I think that this is shit that most people don't be talking about. You know what I'm saying? Most people, this is showing growth. This dude is in his 30s now. You know what I'm saying? Just killing for sake of killing and getting money for the sake of just getting money ain't gonna cut it no more. Now we got to talk about deeper things like health. Dr. Sebi was all about health, what you're putting in your body, what you're eating, what you're drinking, what the government is doing to you. These are things you should be thinking about. This is what made early gangster rap, or when Dre came out with The Chronic, that's what made The Chronic so great. Chronic came out right after the riots, and they were talking about black angst and things going on at the time of the riots and why motherfuckers was rioting, and that made it conscious gangster music. And it's stuff like this that you need to interlace your music with, or your shit's not gonna be valid. Next song, Hustle and Motivate. With that Hard Knock Life, that Jay-Z sample, according to Nipsey, and this is not something that was really known before Nipsey said it, that Jay-Z put a clause when he cleared that sample with the creators or the publishers, the patent owners of that Annie sample. He put a clause in there forcing them to let any rapper that asks to use Annie from that point on automatically be able to use it. So anyone that wants to use Hard Knock like the Annie and all that, go feel free. If you're a rapper, you want to sample it, Jay-Z did that. Hove did that. Hopefully you don't have to go through that. Good song. Next song, Status Symbol, featuring Buddy. Almost forgot what I was doing. So this is a new school flow. It feels like this is a newer track to attract newer rap fans, newer hip hop fans, and it works. I don't see anything that would make this song not fit this album. It gotta, like, even though it's a new school, it got that it feels like some loony shit. Like I Got 5 on it, it's something in their lane, something from that realm, and I think it works. This is like some stripper shit, and it got your boy Buddy. He's on the chorus and the bridge, and it all fits. I think that what Nipsey's going for, he's achieving it. This is some city ghetto. This is not like suburb shit. This is real hood shit. You're not gonna feel this if you're not in some kind of way affiliated with just real shit. You know what I'm saying? For lack of a better word. Next song, Sucker Proof featuring Conscience and Jay Black. Hard ass bass heavy beat. You know how they use the bass for the bass line and the melody at the same time? Boom, boom, boom. Like a lot of that from Heartbreak 808 Heartbreaks type of structure. The Meek Mill sample is cool. I like that. I'm not heavy on the Meek like that, but I do like some of Meek's quotes, some of his ad-libs, some of his verses, some of his lines make great hooks. This is up-tempo, it's chaotic, it's kind of strange, but it's weird. It's not too fast. It's a good track. Again, there's nothing. I don't see anything I need to skip on this album, and this is right there in that same lane. Next song, Keys to the City 2 featuring T-Fly. Another bass heavy track. This is some rider music, some dark mind numbing shit. I think that we are finding that Nipsey doesn't want to go too far of a realm of what he does. He's not going to bust out it with a fucking disco song or a house song or some electro funk shit. Like, he keeps it right there, and you know the beat does change at the toward the end, but it's still, you know, it's still dope. Some flutes and some orchestration, cosmically taking you on a journey. And this is what makes great albums great. If your shit doesn't change up from time to time, I mean, take notes. If your shit doesn't change up from time to time and surprise the listener, if your shit is a pattern all the way through on every song, your shit's probably not that good. All right, next song, Grinding All My Life. This is another up-tempo street anthem. Is well mixed. A lot of things that this guy says. I'm not gonna say he repeats them, but he keeps in that same vein, and we don't get a lot of. I don't know if it's. I don't want to say weirdo, because I don't think that unless you're fucking really being weird, just because you're not talking basic everyday street slang all the time, it doesn't mean you're fucking weird. But he doesn't get weird. For next song, Million While You're Young featuring The Dream. This guy is picking amazing collabs. Like, Dream is transforming into a guy that is becoming very good at what he's being asked to do. He's asked to come in and hold down a song. He did it for Jay's album. He's doing it here. He's being asked to come in, and it's not on some auto-tune. It's not on some, let me turn up and crank it up. These are introspective songs that the artist is being taken seriously. This album could go up for a Grammy. Like, this may be, he may have released it too early. Like, the timing, he may not even be remembered at that time. But this album is Grammy quality, and The Dream is on here. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you're telling me when you want to be taken seriously, you're getting The Dream now. No, that's not what it used to be. But Dream is now becoming that artistically respected guy that is accentuating these songs. And I didn't see this coming. I didn't see this lane change coming, but I like it. I like what Dream is doing. This song is amazing. This is like Isaac Hayes in his prime. If Isaac Hayes, if they plucked him up when he was young, dropped him right here and say, all right, this is the music they're making now, go for it. This is what Isaac Hayes would be making. Isaac Hayes would be making this type of song. Next song, Loaded Bases featuring CeeLo Green. CeeLo, it sounded like that he wrote this hook for CeeLo. It sounded like he had it and CeeLo came in, which is basically how most songs are. It almost, but it sound, you can tell that CeeLo's singing it just like he was told to sing it. like just like this guy wrote it. CeeLo singing it just like that, and that's whatever. It's live instrumentation. I think CeeLo might have been the second choice on this. I don't know, but it's a good song. It stays in my head. It's not something that I forget. It's not one of these songs that you hear it and you're like, man, it's whatever. It's not an and whatever. It's a quality song. It feels like he put himself in this, which I think he does all the time. Next song, Real Big, featuring Marsha Ambrosia. This is the last song. They got 2 bonus tracks, but this is the last song. This is, to me, is a hip-hop gospel, rap gospel. If you were doing a thug gangster gospel song, this would be it. This is a singing out my heart. This is a hands clenched together in prayer for sanctity, for trying to cleanse yourself, for trying to heal yourself. Marsha Ambrosia has a beautiful, I love her. She's inside and out. This chick appears to be very, she appears to be very heartfelt, and in her vocals, I think she's amazing. The last 2 songs, Double Up and Right Hand of God, they just seem like they're just there. They're bonus tracks. They don't add or take away from the album. If you got time and you just want to hear more music, just let them ride. Whatever, they dope. So that's my review. I'm gonna give this album a A+++. And with me, I know people are like, oh, you got the A's. I had a whole conversation. Like, what's the difference between an A and an A+ and an A++? It's about the pluses afterwards. So this is something I feel is very, very good. All of the albums that are in the A vein may not be on the same footing as something that's in a B, or they may not be in the same. They may all be quality, but then we have to distinct how quality they are. So they may be. I may take 5 A albums, but somehow slightly better than others. That's where the pluses come in. All right, man. So that's it. I just think that Nipsey has broken through with this album, being as though it's his first and only album. I know he got mad mixtapes, but to me, and I'm old school, I'm always gonna say, until you make that album, you're not a legit artist to me. I'm just sorry. If you don't make an album, we cannot count you. We cannot count you. If you went 10 years and made 10 mixtapes and you made mad dough and you're dope, blah, 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 at the end of the day, how are we going to count you? How are we going to count you in the greats if you never put it all on the line and put a fucking album out so we can see what numbers it does, so we can see if you have the cohesiveness? Because niggas could make a mixtape and be like, oh, that's just a mixtape. That's why I don't have no concept. But there's a bunch of throwaway shit. If I did an album, they could always fucking bullshit you with that. But once you put the album out, now we can rate you for real. And until someone puts an album out, it doesn't make any sense to me. So now that this guy dropped an album, now that I rated it, this guy really, really has inched his way up in East and West Coast MCs to me. He's knocked a lot of cats out of the game with this, because this album is so quality. It's so focused. And this guy has come into his own. So I want to say this is a very good album. Thank you for watching. CLBMG, Chuckwick Ills, Charles Brown. Like the video, don't like the video. Do whatever you want. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram, whatever. Audio Liquor Magazine. I got more reviews coming up too. We're about to start doing the quick reviews and the live reviews on Audio Liquor Mag. We're about to do a couple talk shows. So we're just about to get it in, man. I'll see y'all soon, man. Peace.